Hello and welcome to another edition of Business Africa. I am Afolake Oyinloye. The top stories this week. Achieving inclusive growth drives World Economic Forum for Africa. Congo's Pointe Noire port resilient despite oil crisis and stiff competition from neighboring countries. Cash-strapped Zimbabwe struggles to pay tobacco farmers. This year's World Economic Forum is on inclusive growth. The top most inclusive Sub-Saharan economies in 2017 is Tanzania, followed by Ghana and Cameroon. The African Development Bank is one of the key actors making a case on mechanized agriculture to tackle poverty on the continent. I spoke to Jennifer Blanke, the Vice President of the bank.
The interest is in looking at how we can get smallholder farmers increase their productivity and make agriculture much more a business than a way of life, which is something that needs to happen both to provide employment opportunities to all the young people who are coming into the labor market, but also to ensure that Africa is able to really feed itself, through agricultural production, but also feed the world.
Africanews special coverage on the World Economic Forum is on TV and on our website at africanews.com. Congo's Pointe Noire port is resilient amid crisis. Innovation remains a key factor to keep it competitive. More than 300 million euros has been invested in infrastructure to attain global standard over the past 8 years. Our business journalist John-David Mamley was on ground to speak to key actors in the sector.
African oil producers continue to put buffers to help recover from shocks brought about by the fall in global oil prices. Here at the Republic of Congo's autonomous port of Pointe Noire, located in the country's economic capital, container handling at the terminal has dropped by about 9% in the last 3 years. The port of Pointe Noire is seen as a barometer of success of Congo's economy. Despite the challenges, the port has managed to stay afloat. What are the strategies deployed for this? Asked Africanews journalist Jean-David Mihamle. The Pointe Noire container terminal relies on competitiveness with the ability to provide 24-hour services, thus reducing costs throughout the supply chain.
Les transbordements.
Today, the port receives an enormous amount of shipments despite the regional crisis, and this month we will reach 50,000 movements, which confirms that we have the right strategy. Our investments are making it possible to serve all ship owners and the population. Obviously, the port has embarked on innovation in order to remain competitive. With authorities working to modernize the facility, more than 196 billion francs, about 300 million euros has been used to make the port reach global standards over the last 8 years.
Later on the program, we'll be taking you to Zimbabwe, where tobacco farmers have become impatient as they still cannot access money from tobacco sales.